We're joined this morning by Greene County Mayor David Crum for our monthly discussion of this week's Greene County Commission meeting. Mayor Crum, pleasure as always to have you with us.
Thank you, Jim. It's good to be here again. Welcome, Greene County. Thank you all for listening to this.
Well, we obviously had a county commission meeting on Monday, and not much newsworthy and not much items of interest that came out of that meeting. Obviously, there was the major issue was the wheel tax, and something that's been discussed for quite a while, and the commissioners have voted to increase the wheel tax by a total of $35, raising it from $20 to $55. Of course, there's a lot of things that have to happen before this goes into effect, but just talk a little bit about how all the process went down on Monday.
Well, we almost have to kind of look back to this budget year that we came in and had to really scramble and work hard and made some serious cuts, and for this the budget year that we're in now. And we looked at that and realized that we have cut all we can. We can't delve into our fund balance, that being our savings, anymore because we've already had to borrow money to make payroll. So our fund balance has dropped down seriously low, below what the comptroller's office actually in a conversation when we were looking to pass that, to borrow that money, that they were going to be paying close attention to Greene County, and we need to get our financial house in order. And so we wanted to look at a wheel tax. I consistently hear across the county that that's the most fair tax. It spreads it out amongst more people. As you said, Jim, it doesn't come all at once, either, kind of like that property tax. You know, if you've got 2, 3, 4 vehicles, even the odds of them coming due all at the same time, is unlikely. There's going to be a couple months spread in there to where you can save up for that. And even at this increase, you're just a little bit over $4 a month would be what it would amount to for the increase total. This increase would be just under $3. We're looking at a $35 increase. And so it's not a huge amount that we're asking for. We're just trying to get our financial house in order.
The passage, obviously, it was passed on a first reading. There's two options from here, and both options were addressed by the commission on Monday. One is to bring it back next month and pass it again by another 2/3 majority. The other one is to ask local representatives to take it to Nashville and pass it as a private act. Which do you see might be the more likely at this point?
Well, I hope, and most of the people I talk to realize that we've got to have some increased revenue, and that the citizens will say that they agree we've done all we can, and we've got to increase that. And some of the things we've looked at in this $35 increase is $25 toward the general fund to help bring that back into a little bit better financial condition to where it's at. $5 applicable to the debt. That's putting that money in there so we're not having to move more property tax revenue into debt service to pay. We've not really looked at that in the past to address and finance our debt requirements. $3 toward the volunteer fire departments. Each year for the last several years we've paid their insurance premium and then come back and give the volunteer fire departments $5,000. That would fund them. They wouldn't have to come in every year begging for funds. As one of the commissioners said, he had a decrease in his insurance because the ISO rating at his local volunteer fire department went down because of a pumper they got. So this actually helps fund those volunteer fire departments, and $2 would go toward capital projects. We've allowed our courthouse and some of those buildings we have to deteriorate. That's not going to put a lot of money in there, but it's going to help put it in some of that preventive maintenance, so hopefully we won't have as big expense down the road.
The next step, obviously, the commission will come back in January and vote on this again. There is a option, though, for a referendum that the citizens can call for. How does that process work?
They do. The if it passes in January, then the citizens would have 30 days to get up a petition that would put it on a ballot that would have come before on the next election. It would have been good if we'd have done this maybe a year ago, because we don't have an election coming up, and a referendum would be quite costly for one item to put on there. The second option, as you said, that passed at the same dollar amount, would be to ask our representatives to sponsor this as a private act through the legislature so that it would and could take effect.
With the whole process that's going on, is there a feeling? Do you get the sense that what's happened in the past is past, and we're looking forward and trying to move forward and just deal with what we've got? A lot of times people want to ascribe the problems and blame the current folks for what happened and how we got to this spot. But as we know, that this is primarily a new commission at this point, and obviously you're new in office as well. Is this a situation where you just hope that the public can just understand and give the commission time to try and fix everything and get it back to where it needs to be?
That was one of the things I came out of feeling real positive yesterday as far as this passing. We brought the wheel tax out from the Budget and Finance Committee knowing that we needed some additional revenue. This commission worked yesterday and put it in a form that I think is really good, and it's addressing some of those long-term issues that we've not addressed. Our debt, our volunteer fire departments, that's a recurring expense that we've got to help, our volunteer fire departments and some of those. So it's got a different philosophy, I think, this commission's got, is let's kind of look at a little bit more down the road, and that's why we have gone ahead and brought this wheel tax in now instead of waiting till June or whenever. We can't wait till June to look at a budget for next year.
One of the issues that you said was devoting $5 toward debt service, and that's an issue. That's an area that's really been lacking in terms of being able to pay down on the county's debt. There's just been trying to get by with them, almost like paying the minimums on your credit cards. You get along, but you never really get out from underneath it.
Yeah, our budget and our director and I had talked, and she'd indicated to meet our budget, our financial needs on our debt this next year to take another penny-and-a-half-cent property tax equal. Well, that's got to come from somewhere, either the general fund that's not there or an increase in a property tax. This kind of builds that hedge in there to where we're looking ahead. As she kind of explained yesterday, a lot of this, most of our debt is based on bonds, where people buy a bond, they've committed, they're investing that money for a number of years, and they'll get it back down the road. We can't pay a lot of those off early, but at least we can put a financial structure in place so as they come due each year, we've got the money there to pay, instead of, as we've done the last few years, try to refinance what we can and kick the can down the road has been the term that keeps being said, is that we've not put a plan in place to pay off our debt structure as it comes due. And that's what part of this is going to help take care of.
People are going to say, yeah, you're going to come with the wheel tax now, and then down the road you're going to come back next year and come back at a property tax with us. Do you feel if this $35 goes through that that's going to be it, that you can assure the folks that this is where we're going to get us to where we need to be, and we're not going to come back and asking for more in a year or a year and a half or 2 years?
I hope so. I can't predict the future. Right now, it would take a look at gas prices. Gas has come down. That's freeing up a little bit of money. We've got new office holders that are looking at saving money, things that they can do. And, this is going to take care of getting us back in some financial structure. By the wheel tax, also the good thing about it, from a budget standpoint, you can cut yourself closer. As I said, the comptroller's office is going to take special note of Greene County. They say we should have had $4 million in the bank at the end of June. It's almost, I use the analogy, getting paid monthly as opposed to getting paid once a year. We can cut our budgets much tighter with this wheel tax revenue than we could before. I can't predict what may happen as far as health care and other items that come up before the county that we may be mandated by some legislature to do. Not our county, but may come down federal edicts. We've got a mandate that's supposed to change the reflective signs on roads that could be a horrendous cost if we had to go out and do those. So some of those things we just can't predict. But if we look at what we're doing and some of the things that's going on, I feel optimistic that this can take care of us for a while. Just look at what's gone on at the Sheriff's Department. Not to switch gears, but we were looking at how are we going to finance a new Justice Center jail that could be $40 to $60 million, and at this point we're out from under that. So, those are some things we're looking at. And I know the sheriff went down yesterday and met with some of the judges, so I don't mean to take his thunder, but to let the community know that a lot of times we have prisoners sitting in jail until they actually plead guilty to a felony. They are on the counties having to pick up the tab for them. Once they enter that guilty plea to a felony, then they fall into that category of a state prisoner, and the state starts contributing to that. And we have a lot of people on violations of probation or minor felonies that when they do enter that plea, they're walking out the door. So we've picked up the complete tab. So the sheriff met with some of the judges yesterday and they've agreed. Judge Duggar's going to allow some of the other judges to hear some of those pleas that will streamline and speed up that process to either free up space or to where we'll start getting reimbursed and it's not going to come from us. So those are things that we're looking at.
Shifting gears slightly to some of the other issues that came up during Monday's meeting, after several attempts, the privilege tax increases for litigation taxes finally been increased $12.50, and that will take care of some of the issues that have gone on with some of the funding from renovations to the courthouse and the construction of the workhouse too.
It will. That $12.50 came up twice before, and there was to that commission, I think, to make sure that the money went where it was supposed to go. And this commission, I think, realizes that we're going to do that, so that's an extra going to help us on our debt. So we're making some movement on some of those long-term things that hadn't. So, yeah, it was good that passed. That's going to help out some financially there also.
One of the other issues that came up during the meeting on Monday was the question of allowing county employees to take their birthday as a holiday, and it was a proposal that was put out there, and it was defeated, and I just don't know how that all kind of came about, and what your thoughts are on that.
I think one of the departments may have been allowing their employees to take their birthday, and so that came up. Some people provide that, but you can't go both directions. Say we're going to increase taxes and increase the benefit to the employees, and so it was appropriate to not pass that at this time. If we were in good financial shape and could either give a benefit or pay raise or something, that could be one of those things that I think community could get. But you don't do that during tough economic times to increase those benefits. And Personnel Committee is going to be starting to meet. Our personnel policy is tremendously outdated, and so we want to look and try to get some of those. And each department head can fine-tune their benefit packages and things, so we want to kind of bring those in a little bit more into a central area there to where it's fair across the board to all employees.
Are you still driving toward getting a human resources professional in the county? Maybe not this year, but certainly in the near future?
I think we need it. Every week there's questions come up with the amount of county employees that we've got on FMLA, and just like this can look and bring in all those functions and benefits and things into one better package, and have someone that's knowledgeable. So that you've got a complaint, just bring up sexual harassment, workplace hostile, you've got somebody to go to instead of sitting there with a budget director and a county mayor who's not human resource qualified and the attorney spending time on those that can look and can, it's just almost every business has a human resource person for every 100 employees. And we just have a lot of things come up with insurance and employment issues that we need someone that has knowledge and not just a generalist that hope they get it right.
One of the other things that came up was giving retirees from the Sheriff's Department who've put their time in and retire in good standing a chance to keep their badge and their service weapon. That's kind of a goodwill gesture to those folks who've put in the years of service.
It does, and that requirement showed that they have to put in 20 years of service. We know where I came from was at the police department, spent 27 years there. Whenever I started, people carried revolvers. Those things, just passed on. And after a person's had a weapon for a number of years besides the goodwill, it's time to upgrade that weapon. Instead of just passing down something, if somebody may not have taken as good a care of it, which hopefully they're being inspected, but just time plays on metal, and that metal fatigue and maybe a little rust and things. I think it's a positive thing. You move that firearm out and you bring another one in with that person that's coming on. So I think that's the right thing. A lot of the Sheriff's Department's equipment comes out of that litigation tax also, so it may be funded from that litigation money that comes from fines and costs rather than direct property tax or other tax money.
A group that's been working behind the scenes and has been doing their work fairly diligently, and they came forward again for another request. The Charter Commission asked for another 9-month extension of their work, and unlike the previous couple times when they made the request, this time it was granted to give them the 9-month extension. What are your thoughts on what they've been doing and just where things are going with that right now?
I think they realized, I'm only thinking, I voted for it whenever I was on there, the extension, is that that was something that was voted to allow the Charter Commission to take their time and bring this option down the road for people to vote on. So it's going to give them time to finish it up, send it off for review by the state and the attorneys that have to review to make sure that it does fit the legal requirements. And since there's not an election coming up anytime soon that we need to rush them, we've actually added the Charter Commission's rough draft to the county's website. So if anyone wants to go on there and look and see what their work in progress is, they can go to the Greene County government's website and see that.
One other issue that came up as a discussion item on Monday was talk about the firing range and about some of the neighbors that have continued to just express a little bit of concern about the location and about the expansion, and I think that certainly it's something that's very of interest to you as a former law enforcement official. Just how it's the county is trying to be good neighbors with the folks up there on Panoramic View Drive, and just how that process is going right now.
We do want to be good neighbors to them and the other people that are around in that area. That range has been there. There was only one house up there at that time. I'm sure other neighbors in that area hear the range and the noise from it. That area of property is hilly and rocky. It doesn't lend itself really to development. It's a convenient location for law enforcement to be able to get there and train. With the additional usage is going to come a lot more oversight. Right now, people that have worked in law enforcement have keys and can go down there pretty much at their will. It's going to be much more regulated, and the times are going to be there, I think, will be less. There will be more shooting going on, but I think it will be in a time that is concentrated down in less of those later night hours and early morning hours. It's going to be a tremendous impact to the community in general. I mean, we are a rural community of people that like to shoot. I mean, for the most part, we don't have to advocate the Second Amendment. We live the Second Amendment. I mean, we're in the South, people have guns. And it's going to allow hunter safety classes to be there on site, where there will be classrooms and educational opportunities for firearms. It's just a tremendous impact. I know the noise carries, but I walked out of my house the other day and could hear a train going down the track. I mean, it's just something that's there, and we're trying to be good neighbors. But there's also a lot of rural area around that too, and you can pull up and look. It's a good distance. It's not right next door. It's just the location does. I mean, you're shooting a gun. It lends itself to some noise.
We're a week away from Christmas now, and as we get ready to celebrate Christmas and all that goes with it, what do you feel? What are your feelings of thankfulness at this time of year? And I'm sure that this has obviously been a year of great change for you personally and professionally. Just what are you taking out of this season right now?
Well, this is the time of year that as a Christian we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who fulfilled the Scriptures. And I hope I continue to concentrate on that this time of year as to what it brings to a person of faith. Especially grateful for family. As you say, it's a tremendous change. A lot of people don't realize the amount of time that put in going to places, the support of family that takes away from family or puts them in the public eye also with holding an office. It has been a tremendous change, but I'm grateful. As I said last time, I run across people almost daily that say, we're praying for you. Not just me, but are praying for our commission and other, and that's what I'd solicit is those continued prayers, because I think for the most part we're working together just like we did yesterday. We brought something in, and it took a long day, but we left with something that I'm a firm believer is better for this county than what we started out yesterday before the commission.
On that note, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Greene County Mayor David Crum, thank you very much for your time.
Merry Christmas to Greene County.